Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Abuzar, and today what I'm going to do, I am going to record this thing in English. I don't know why, but I just want to record this video or audio in English. Okay, so let's start this thing. Okay, in this video I am going to talk something about the psychology. I'm going to describe, or just I'm going to give you an idea about the scope of the psychology. And this video is especially for those students who are studying the psychology, or maybe who are thinking to study psychology, but they are not doing it just because of the people who are surrounding them and who are really shouting at them at their choice to study psychology. Okay, so this video is for them. So first of all, let me explain you, not explain you, but let me define you about what the psychology is all about. Okay, in psychology we actually study the behaviors of the people, or you can say we actually study people. We study their behavior, their way of thinking. We study their mental processes. What they're thinking about, what they're doing, and why they're doing some things. So this is all what we actually study. We observe the behavior of a person. We actually describe his behavior. We can predict the behavior according to the past behavior, and when we can predict something, we can actually change their behavior. So this is what we study in psychology. And if we talk about the scope of psychology, which is actually the main topic of this video, uh, don't ever take any of the field as a field which have no scope. There is no field on this earth that has no scope. This is what I believe. If you have a knowledge about something, then you will have absolutely the scope of that field, no matter what the hell you are doing or what are you studying. If you have a proper knowledge about some field, you will definitely get the priority. Okay, so uh, in psychology, when you ask a person who is aware, who think that I know absolutely everything about psychology, uh, he will say that after studying psychology you can only deal with the persons or with the people who are suffering from some kind of the mental illness or from psychological disorders. So he will have just a picture of a person who is giving the therapy to the other person who is suffering from some psychological disorders, and he will say you that after studying psychology you will deal with the persons who are not mentally perfect, and by dealing with those persons one day you will also become like that. Okay, this is the picture what we have in our mind about the psychology, but this is not the psychology. The kind of the psychologists who deal with the mentally ill people are the clinical psychologists, and they are just the 30% of the psychology. They are not the 100% of psychology. They're just performing the 30% of the psychology, and there is the 70% remind that we have to that the other psychologists do. Okay, so aside from the clinical psychology, there are a lot of fields, and I will give you a few of the fields, and if you want to study some in detail, then I will give you a few links in the description where you can go and you can study about the different fields of the psychology. So the first one is, as you know, in universities there are most of the fields in which we study the psychology as a minor subject. Okay, most of the not most of the social sciences, but all the social sciences fields, you have to study the psychology at least in 1 or 2 semester, and we need some psychologists to teach the students. And you can imagine the number of the universities in any country, and you can imagine the number of the teachers we require to teach the psychology. And I know most of the teachers of psychology who even don't have a grip to their subject, but they are actually giving the lectures to their subject, and they are earning a good deal. Okay, so you can be that person. You can actually study the psychology, and you can teach the students in a better way. So this is the first thing. After clinical psychology, you can go to teach the students, and after that there is a huge demand, an increasing demand of the psychologists in industry. Okay, in industry, now it is getting compulsory. uh, you can say it is getting compulsory to hire a psychologist to perform the task in a better way. Okay, as I just told you that the psychologist can actually predict the behavior of the people, and they gives the kind of the ideas, the instructions or the suggestions to the owner or the manager of the industry that they should work in this way to increase the number of the product which they sell per year or per month. And aside from that, they also deal with the workers who are working in that industry, who are not being able to work in a proper way, maybe because of some mental issues. So they also deal with them. And there is another field of psychologists who are schools and college psychologists. Now this is different from teaching. Okay, in schools and colleges, psychologists don't really teach the students. They actually deal with the students. Now there are many of the students who have, you can say, some phobias about different subjects. For example, in mathematics, most of the students don't like the mathematics. They hate to even study the mathematics, to do the homework, and they don't even want to look at the mathematical formulas or something like that. So psychologists give them a way to study, give them the kind or the way that they should study in this way to reduce the kind of phobia which they have about different subjects, and they give them very interesting way to study. So that is a very emerging field of psychology. Another important field of psychology is in organizations. As you know, there are 100 to 1,000 of organizations which are working in every country, and they need the psychologist to perform their task in a brilliant way. So they also hire most of the psychologists. Now, this field is very important, which I'm just going to explain. That is the counselors. There are many counselors, like the career counselors, or you can say the marriage counselors, and many other counselors who deal with the people to change the perspective, or to give them the idea about something. For example, in career counselors, most of the students, after completing their education or some initial education, they don't have any kind of idea that what they should study, where they should go, what they have the interest, or what they want to study, what they want to do. So the career counselors can give them a very kind suggestions or some instructions, or they can help them to identify their interest and to study them according to their interest. So in marriage counselors, the psychologists uh, deal with the couples, and they try to solve their couple the problems or issues which the couples have, and they try to save the marriage of a couple. So that is also a very interesting field. And after that, there are, as you know, most of the motivational speakers. Okay, and that is also increasing day by day, the demand of the motivational speakers, and the interest of the people toward the motivational speakers. So what I think is that most of the psychologists can give you the better motivation instead of the people who are not, I'm not saying that they are not good, but they are actually working in a better way. But what I think is that if a psychologist give you the motivation, then it will remain with you for a longer period of time, rather than the other people who give you the motivation. It will be with you for some hours or for some days. Okay, but if a psychologist give you a motivation, then it will be with you for years. So that's a great deal. And these are just a little bit of the scope of psychologists. And if you want to study deeper, then I have given the description, links in the description. You can actually go and watch them and study them and write them down. And if you are interested in psychology, then I support you. I am with you. You can message me, you can text me, you can comment here. I will help you, because I'm also a student of psychology, and I will help you, and it will convince you that this field is absolutely great. There is no, you can say, it's a very vast field, very diverse field. You just come in and study, and it will give you a lot of things in return of that. So that's everything for now. I just want to say, because I'm from Pakistan, and in this country, most of the people, actually maybe 80% of the people, they are not aware what psychology is all about. So don't really let the people to decide your future. Just do what you really want to do. And in Pakistan, the psychology is getting its scope day by day. It's getting interesting, and it's getting popular in a gradual way. So don't be uh, afraid of the people. Just do what you want to do, and everything will be okay. And this is everything from this video. It already has become of 12 minutes, so that's too long, and I will meet you in the next time. And goodbye for now. Allah Hafiz.